Yo, what is going on everyone? Today I am bringing you a brand new video, and it is going to be another video in my Football Manager 2016 Experiments series. It's going to be two players today, and it's going to be players of the past returning to the old clubs to see how they would have done if they stayed at the club. As I'm a Liverpool fan, we're going to look at two former players that Liverpool used to have, and we'll see how they would have done if they stayed there. Now, we're just going to look at the two players and then I'll explain how this video is going to work. Okay, so firstly, as you can see, we've got Luis Suarez back at Liverpool. How this is going to work is, I've gone back to see when the player left. Now, for example, Luis Suarez left in the summer of 2014. This game starts in the summer of 2015. So all I've done is, I've made him a year younger. So in real life he is 28 years of age. I've made him 27. So it's as if he's just not moved from Liverpool. And obviously I've given him a 3-year deal and he's going to stay at Liverpool now, hopefully anyway. He may leave, but we're just going to experiment what would have happened if he stayed. The second player, if we just go here, Fernando Torres. Now, he left Liverpool, I think it was 5 years ago. Yeah, he left Liverpool 5 years ago. So in real life, he is 31 years of age. I've made him 5 years younger, and then obviously he's in this current Liverpool team. So we're going to see Fernando Torres and Luis Suarez play together. That's something I've always wanted to see a Liverpool fan. Let's test it out. We're going to give them 3 years and see how they do. Let's jump 1 year into the future and firstly see how they do in their first season at Liverpool. Okay, so we're 1 year into the future and we have sorted the players by their average match rating. Now, Adam Bogdan, that's a bit of an odd one. He's only played 6 matches, that's why he's there. But as you can see, Luis Suarez leads the way with a 7.63 average match rating. We're going to take a look at him first. So if we go into his history and career stats, this year, he has made 59 starts for Liverpool, 4 appearances from the bench, scoring 36 goals, that's incredible. 1 penalty from 1 penalty actually taken, 17 assists, oh my word, 17 man of the match awards. That's, oh Jesus Christ, I've not even got words for that, that's exceptional. And a 7.63 average match rating in all competitions. As for the league, he got 22 goals in 38 appearances. He actually played every league match. That's really decent for Luis Suarez. I think, yeah, that's his best stats for a while. Obviously, he done really well in his final season at Liverpool. 33 appearances, getting 31 goals. But them stats are just incredible, to be fair. We take a look at Torres now, who is actually the second highest average match rating, obviously, because we're not classing Bogdan. So if we go to his history and career stats, this year he played 41 matches for Liverpool, starting them, 4 appearances from the bench, getting 23 goals, 10 assists, 5 man of the match awards. He'll probably get more if it wasn't for Luis Suarez, and a 7.30 average match rating in all competitions. Very impressive for Fernando Torres. Obviously, as you can see, that's his best years in a long time, you know, back to his Liverpool days, really. He obviously had the very good first season for us, very good second, very good third, and then he kind of died down and he's just not been the same since. But returning him to Liverpool has seemed to do him some good. If we take a look at how Liverpool done as a whole, so in the Premier League, they did actually get top 4, beating Manchester City to it by 3 points. They were 10 points off the league leaders Arsenal. Now we'll take a look at how they done in other competitions. If we go to the FA Cup and Capital One Cup, nope, that's not what we need there. There we go. So Capital One Cup, they actually reached the final of the Capital One Cup, losing 2-1 to Manchester City at Wembley. That would be very disappointing. Sterling, oh, it would be Raheem Sterling, who scores against his former club. Fernandinho as well with the other goal for Manchester City. Benteke getting it for Liverpool. As for the FA Cup, they made it to the 6th round, where they actually lost to Sheffield Wednesday. That's disappointing. Southampton, they drew away, beat them at home. What else can we take from this? They beat them at home in the replay, yeah. Nothing really notable there, really. They done alright in the domestic competitions. Let's take a look at Europe. So the Europa Cup, wow, that's I'm blown away by that. So in the group stages, they had quite a tough group. Fenerbahce, Groningen and Dortmund. They won all games except for Dortmund at home. Surprising, you would imagine they'd lose to Dortmund away. But then they got Panathinaikos in the first knockout round. They beat them convincingly 6-1 on aggregate, as you do. They then got Athletic Bilbao in the second knockout round, beating them 1-0 on aggregate, and it was actually away from home that they got the goal. Then they play Valencia. They lose 2-0 away in the quarterfinal first leg. beat them 2-0 at home in the quarterfinal second leg and win on penalties. They then get Monaco, drawing 1-1 at home, but then actually going away to France and winning 2-1 to book their place in the final, where they meet Real Madrid and they win 2-1. Fernando Torres getting the crucial goal, but Roberto Firmino opens the scoring 8 minutes in with a penalty. Ronaldo strikes back. Obviously, Real Madrid must have finished third in their Champions League group, but Torres in the 28th minute, so he actually put Liverpool 2-0 up before Ronaldo goes and gets a consolation goal later on. But Fernando Torres getting a goal in the Europa League final, the ultimately winning goal in the end, and Liverpool do win the Europa League. So not a bad first season for Luis Suarez and Fernando Torres. Let's take a look at their next season at Liverpool. Okay, so we're one more year into the future. It is June 2017, as you can see on screen right now. Liverpool, you can probably see at the top, finished 5th in the Premier League, but we're going to focus on Luis Suarez and Fernando Torres once more. I've sorted them both, well, the whole team, by the average match rating, and as you can see, once again, Luis Suarez leads the way with a 7.50. Very interesting signing, Toby Alderweireld. He actually gets second. Fernando Torres down in 4th behind Suarez, Alderweireld and Felipe Coutinho. But let's just take a look at Luis Suarez's year in numbers. As you can see, 51 appearances, 2 being substitute appearances, 33 goals, 2 penalties from 2 taken, 10 assists, 8 man of the match awards, so nowhere near the 17 or whatever he had last year, the crazy number that he had. He actually got a red card in the league. That's why he didn't actually play every single game. Interesting. 7.50. And if you actually look at his international stats, he's had a very good year there. 8.05 average match rating, 8 appearances, 6 goals, 4 assists, and 2 man of the match awards. That's crazy. Luis Suarez is just an absolute phenomenal player. But obviously, once again, a very good season for Luis Suarez. How old will he be now? He's 29. If we take a look at Fernando Torres, he had a good season as well last year, and he does exactly the same this year. 46 appearances, 2 of which being substitutes, 23 goals in total, 4 assists, 2 man of the match awards, no red cards for him, a 7.22 average match rating in all competitions. As for the league, he made 35 appearances, 1 of which being a substitute, 17 goals, 3 assists. That's actually more than last year, but he did play more games. So obviously both players are settling in nicely back at Liverpool, and obviously they are doing very well. As for Liverpool though, finishing 5th, that's going to be disappointing for them. They were 11 points off 4th as well, 20 points off 1st. Yeah, it's really, really disappointing. They were 12 points clear of 6th, but you know, if you've got that type of talent in your team, you really want to be pushing for them, you know, top 4 places at least. Okay, so the other competitions, we're just going to start with the domestic ones. As you can see, Capital One Cup, 3rd round, they go out away to Middlesbrough, so I'm not even going to bother talking about that. They win at home to Wigan in the FA Cup 3rd round. They win 3-2 away to Swansea in the the FA Cup 4th round. They win at home to Wolves 4-0 in the 5th round, and then I think last year they done this as well. They lost in the 6th round, this time away to Bolton, 1-0 the scoreline there. Let's take a look at the European Super Cup, because obviously they were in that. They actually won on penalties against Bayern Munich. Very, very impressive result there. They took the lead through Felipe Coutinho. Sebastian Rudy, I'm not too sure. He gets one back for Bayern Munich. But obviously they go and win on penalties, which is a great result for Liverpool. If we take a look at them in Europe, I'm just going to see if they made them. They didn't go into the Europa League, so it is just the Champions League that they were in. So as you can see, their group stage looks a bit shaky. You've got 3 wins, 2 draws and 1 win. They have Barcelona in the group, so it was obviously going to be difficult, and they failed to beat Barcelona. But then they won every other game except for Dynamo Kiev at home. They then knock out Juventus in the first knockout round, 3-1 on aggregate, but then they lose to the team they played in last year's Europa League final, Real Madrid, losing both home and away to crash out of the Champions League. We're going to jump one more year into the future and see how Luis Suarez and Fernando Torres both do at their final year at Liverpool. Let's do that right now. Okay, so we are in the final year. It is June 2018. And as you can see on the screen, we've sorted them by average match rating once again. Luis Suarez, he's always going to do this, isn't he? Let's be honest. The 7.80 average match rating leads the way. Felipe Coutinho right behind him, 7.79. Big drop down to Daniel Sturridge, 7.36. He was drawn with Toby Alderweireld with the same average match rating. Then you've got Nevan Subotic with a 7.31. And finally, Fernando Torres in 6th place with a 7.28. But let's start off with Luis Suarez, the absolute genius. Let's see his stats for this year. So he made 49 appearances, 2 of which being substitute appearances, 29 goals, 3 penalties from 3. I think that's gone up each year by 1, 2, 3, which is quite ironic. 16 assists, and he's back to his usual self. 15 man of the match awards. He also got a red card yet again. That was in the cup this time. 18 yellow cards. He's a dirty player, you've got to admit that, but he's brilliant. He is absolutely brilliant. What a year for Luis Suarez. In terms of league goals, he didn't actually get as many as his previous 2 seasons. However, he scored a lot in the cup and continental and so on. So that's got to be taken into account. We'll take a quick look at Fernando Torres and then look at the, what would it be? We'll look at how Liverpool done as a whole. As for Fernando Torres, 36 appearances, so it is dropping off each year, I think. 1 being substitute. 19 goals. He actually scored, no, he didn't actually score a penalty. He took a penalty but missed it. He got 6 assists, 2 man of the match awards, and a 7.28 average match rating in all competitions. Yeah, he'll probably be disappointed with that, in fairness. He's slowly dying out at Liverpool, I think, even though he's younger than Luis Suarez. But obviously, Daniel Sturridge being higher up in the average match rating, maybe he's just been put, you know, to like 3rd choice striker. Also, Felipe Coutinho is having a great year by the looks of things. Maybe he's even getting in the team ahead of Fernando Torres. But what we will now do is look at Liverpool as a whole. And as you can see, they finished 5th, a point less than last year. 16 points behind 4th place Manchester United, and what would that be? That would be 22 points behind the eventual winners Manchester City. Let's take a look at how Liverpool done in the domestic cups. One thing catches my eye straight away. First thing we need to talk about though is they did actually lose the Capital One Cup 3rd round away to Manchester United. Disappointing again, they exit at that same stage, but they do actually win the FA Cup. Now, they actually go to a replay in the 4th round. Everything's pretty much simple. They beat Arsenal in the semi-final 2-0 before thumping Manchester City 4-0 in the final. Suarez on the score sheet, Torres getting 2, and Roberto Firmino. Nice bit of silverware for Liverpool there. If we look at the... Oh, they're not in the Champions League. They're in the Europa League. Group stage-wise, very easy group. They draw away to Besiktas and win every other game quite convincingly. They beat Nice, or I think that's how you say it, in the first round, knockout round, 6-0 on aggregate. They then go to Roma, lose 2-1 away from home before actually going out on away goals, as in a 3-2 match at Anfield. Torres getting a hat-trick in that match, but they do actually go out on away goals. So on a whole, Luis Suarez and Fernando Torres did enjoy quite a successful 3 years at Liverpool. Be interesting to see if they had a few more years on top of this. If you do want me to continue this specific experiment with Torres and Suarez, maybe give them an extra year or an extra 2, maybe an extra 3, do let me know in the comments below and I'll be sure to bring that to you. Thank you all for watching. Check out the rest of the Football Manager experiments content down below in the description. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, goodbye.